Okay, if you're going to get serious about Bash development, and we're going to get serious about doing this to the broadest audience possible, then you got to have a good development environment, and you have to be able to make changes quickly. You need to be able to do code completion, tab completion. Now, you can set this stuff up in Unix. You can set it up in Vim if you know what you're doing. So it can all be done in Unix, but my preference, because I work on a Windows box most of the time, is to be able to work efficiently from Windows and interact with Unix without it being a pain. And I like to be able to take my development environment wherever I am, so that then later when I connect to say a customer network, I can push out my code changes that I've made, but I can work offline. So I'm going to talk about my development environment, how I've set my development environment up. Hopefully people will share their own development environments if they're using Vim or Emacs or what have you. I use a text editor called Sublime. Maybe you could use Notepad++ or something else. But I'm going to go through my entire development setup. And we're going to go ahead and do the setup so you can see how it works. So the first thing you're going to need, if you're doing is some type of virtual machine engine. I use VirtualBox for this. So go out and download VirtualBox and install it if you don't already have that. The next thing I like to use, just because it's simple, is the Ubuntu desktop. That's what I use for development. So if you want to go out to get Ubuntu, it's pretty easy to find. And again, download the ISO image, and then we will go through an installation in another video and show you how to install and set up your Ubuntu VM. Now for text editing, I use Sublime Text. It is not a free product, although I think you can use it for free. It'll annoy you, asking you when you're going to buy it. I think I probably used it for a long time before I bought a license. I think my license was about $55 or $60. It looks like it's up to $80, but this is well worth it in terms of what you're going to be able to do productivity-wise. Now, again, if you are a wizard at Vim or Emacs, perhaps you can set up all the same kind of functionality. This has all sorts of add-ins, and I just really love Sublime. So when I'm doing videos, you're going to see me using Sublime Text. I'm not going to be using VI. I'm going to be using this system here. And as I get into showing you how to build modules with Arc Shell, how to program with Bash, how to write clean code and all that, I'm going to be using Sublime Text running Ubuntu VM in VirtualBox. Okay. Now I also use GitHub. I have a $7 a month plan that I store my code in, so I can keep a private repository. You can create public repositories, but I do recommend you sign up for a GitHub account or a GitLab account. Like I said, I think there's free accounts for both, but your code is going to be visible to everybody if you do that. You should probably eventually learn how to set up a local GitHub repository if you want to do shared development at in your place of employment or wherever you work or the people you do consulting for. If you don't want to use GitHub, that's fine. I've used the other systems before. I can't remember the names because they've changed. CVS systems or CVS, I can't remember. I think it was Sublime, actually. So anyway, I've used other source control systems, and they're great too, but source control is kind of a necessity if you're going to be doing development where you have more than one person developing in the same code base. So you've got GitLab to look at, GitHub, other source control systems. Get Sublime if you can. Try it out. It's a great text editor. I'll be showing all the add-ins that I use in another video, and things are downloading right now. When they're done downloading, I'll shoot a video on installing Ubuntu. And what I'm going to do is just in Ubuntu, we're going to mount some folders. Probably what I normally do is just mount a directory on one of my Windows disks. And I know that anything I put in that directory will then be exposed to my Ubuntu VM. Now, one of the issues that does come up in this whole thing is if you're familiar with !M characters, these are like Windows line return characters that get embedded in your Unix files, and shell scripts will not run often if those are in there. I have a script that cleans those up. It's kind of a pain. I run it every now and then when I move from machine to machine because they only pop up when I upload things to GitHub and then download them to another machine. They get inserted in there. And I haven't figured out how to keep GitHub from doing that, or the GitHub client. That's another thing. I use the Windows GitHub client. There's somewhere on here you can find the GitHub client, and I use that. So you'll be seeing that also. So anyway, this is the basics that you need to get going. If you don't want to use Sublime, maybe Notepad++ or some other advanced text editor would work. Or you can use, like I said, don't use Windows at all and just go all in Unix with Vim or Emacs. It's up to you. Okay, thanks.